how to scale a property business. So in this video today, I'm going to be discussing what you can do to scale your property business. Okay, so you are looking to scale your property business. So maybe you haven't got started yet, but you're thinking, actually, if I do get started, once I've bought one, how am I then going to scale and buy more? Or you've got started and you've got one or a few properties and you want to scale it, okay? So what I would recommend is that you switch your strategy temporarily. And what I mean by that is, okay, so let's suppose that you've got £50,000 to invest in property. So if you go and buy one property for £100,000, you're going to have to put down a deposit of 25%. So that's 25k. Next, it might need a refurb, or it might need some what we call ready to rent costs. So you might need some furniture if you're going to do a HMO, or you're going to do serviced accommodation, but it's going to need something doing to it to get it into a rentable condition. Plus, you're going to have solicitors' fees and some other professional fees on top of that. So let's just say that, you know, let's just be conservative and say 10k. Okay, 35,000 of your 50,000 cash that you initially had has now been used on one property. The only way that you're then going to be able to buy more properties or scale is you need to wait for the value to increase, which could be in years, depending on where in the country you're investing. It could be many years. Okay, some areas of the country go up faster than others. The north has typically been slower than other areas. So if you're in some old mining towns or some old, old towns with manufacturing that have kind of gone into decline and there's higher unemployment, then the properties haven't appreciated as much. So it depends where you are. London, maybe not much appreciation at the moment down there. So it depends. Okay, but typically you're only gonna be able to realise that value if the prices have gone up or you've added value to it. So you've done something to it that has made the price, made the value increase. So you've done a refurb, you've done new kitchen, bathroom. Maybe you've put an extension on the back. Maybe you've knocked through the kitchen diner. Whatever it may be, prices have risen or you've added some value. You've added value to it. That's not really useful if you want to scale properties, because you've used now 70% of your money's gone. Yeah, you've only got 15k left. So what I would recommend doing instead is finding properties that are below value, adding value, and then selling them for a higher price. And then you'll create lump sums of cash. So let's just say that you've got a property that's got it's valued at 100. Let's say you buy it for 75k purchase price. You've immediately locked in £25,000 worth of equity. If you're one of my students or you've been watching videos for a while now, you'll know that I always say the profit is in the buying. Okay, so you buy properly, you buy well. It's going to do two things. If the market drops, you're going to be protected because you've already got a margin there. Okay. If you've bought 25% below value and the market drops by 10%, it doesn't affect you. Okay. Secondly, it means that you've got your lump sum of cash built in. Okay. So now you could either just sell that property for the valuation, or what I prefer to do is add a little bit of value to it to make it worth more. Okay. So let's say you bought this property, you've used your 25k deposit, and let's say that you do a very light refurb on it and spend £5,000 in adding value. So now you've spent 30,000 on the property. You may have some, well, you will have some professional fees and legal fees and things like that. So let's just say you've spent 32,000 on the property. But as you've added this 5k value, it might be worth 110 now. Okay, so you bought it for 75, you've spent 5k on it, and now let's say it's worth 110. Okay, you sell it for 110. Okay, your mortgage was 75k, so you've got to pay that off. And now you're left with 35,000, but you spent 5k on refurb. You've got to take your 5k off, so you're left with 30k. And we said that there was some costs in there of 2k, so if we put the 2k in as well, So you're left with 28k. You've just made £28,000 profit, 28k lump sum. So what you can do now is use what I call the conveyor belt method. So you go and repeat that and buy a second property. So if you buy a second property, so this is your first. Let's say on the next one you only make 20. Let's say you do a third and you make 25. But now you've got, what's that? 73,000. So you've made 73,000 and you started off with your 50. So now you've got 73 plus your 50. You've got £123,000. Now isn't that a lot better doing this method than this one here where we just bought one property and rented it out and we've used all of our money or 70% of our money? Okay. This way it allows you to buy more properties quicker because you're getting lump sums of cash in to boost your cash pot. So let's say if you do that until you get like 150 or 200,000, you can then start buying properties to hold, to rent, and then you can scale. But this way will allow you to scale. So what I would also recommend is that you do both. So once you start doing this and use the conveyor belt method, okay, after that, start buying properties in parallel. So let's say we've got the 123,000 now, yeah? So we've got 123,000. So with that 123,000, let's say that we're going to use 30,000 for house number one, and that's going to be a buy-to-let, a rental, buy-to-let. So that means now we've got 93,000 left. Okay, so with that 93k, go and do the conveyor belt method again. Go and buy another house below value, add a little bit of value and sell it and make a lump sum of cash. So let's say you make another 25k. So now you've got 25k plus your 93k. We're up to, what's that, 98, 118. Let's say you now want to go and buy another house to add on. So now we go up here and we spend another 30k. And we buy house number two. And now two things are happening. You've got your conveyor belt here dropping in lump sums of cash, and you've got these here dropping in a monthly income. So if this earns you 600 a month, and this is earning 600, you've now got a gross, say gross, because everyone's different with taxes and things, but you've got a gross income of £1,200 a month. If you would have done the first way and just gone out and bought one property, all you'd have is one lot of £600 and no more money to do anything else. But by doing the conveyor belt method, you get lump sums of cash dropping in your bank every few months, and then you can use that to go and buy a buy-to-let property, or if you want to do a HMO, you might need two of these conveyor belts to do a HMO because they're more cash intensive. But the strategy is the same, okay? Conveyor belt method to get your lump sums, to keep your pot filled with the money to go and buy your buy-to-lets to get a monthly income. Okay, so that's what I have done, I do, and what I would recommend that you do, because it's the fastest way that you can scale your property business. So guys, we've been doing these videos now for 2 or 3 weeks. We've had some really good feedback, but I need your help because the more people that subscribe, the more that YouTube puts these sorts of videos in front of you on your screen. So if you like this video, then please consider subscribing, and don't forget to hit the bell button as well because you'll get a notification then. Anything you want me to teach you, anything you want me to go through with you, anything you want to pick my brains on 20 years of experience, just type it below and I'll go through it with you. So that's all for today, guys. See you next time.